my darlings, I hope you're all doing very, very well. I hope you are sitting comfortably, you are cozy, and you have your snacks and your beverages at the ready. In today's video, I will be doing a highly requested tattoo tour. My last tattoo tour was over 4 years ago now, so I have definitely had some tattoos since then. I have finished my blackout blast over sleeve. I've had extra added on here and there. I've had a couple more, you know, leg tattoos and stuff like that. Like, there's been some additions in the past 4 years, so it's very much time to do an updated one. I've honestly been putting this off for quite a while now, just because, I don't know, it's very exposing, filming every inch of your body. It honestly took a lot out of me mentally to film every inch of my body, because I filmed the clips that I'm gonna put in this video already. And yeah, just filming every inch of your body, it's strange, you know? Like, it's not something everyone does all the time. And I know for a fact that everyone is going to be staring at every inch of my body, and it's kind of weird. I've never had this issue before, but I was just like, oh no, like, everyone's seen every inch of me. But I know you're all here just to look at the tattoos anyway, but like, these tattoos are attached to my body. Do you know what? Does that make sense? Maybe not, I don't know. I also want to take mention to the fact that I have been getting tattooed for 16 years. Okay, I've been getting tattooed for a very long time, and some of my tattoos are definitely questionable. I have never, ever once in my whole YouTube career ever claimed that my tattoos are superior to other people's. I am fully aware that some of my tattoos are horrific. The quality is terrible. I started getting tattooed way before social media was prevalent. The only thing that I had to go on when it comes to tattoo quality was what people had around me, like my friends and all of that. You know, we didn't have Instagram famous tattoo artists. We didn't have tattoo content creators out here giving education. All we had back when I first started getting tattooed was a hope and a dream, okay? There was nobody out there telling me what was good and what was bad. And that's one of the reasons as to why I started doing YouTube. I wanted to help people not make the same mistakes that I made. But anyway, let's get on to the tattoo tour. I'm going to try and make this as brief as possible because I have over 70 tattoos, okay? I counted the list and I was just like, oh my gosh, like, this is gonna take forever to film and edit, and so yeah, make sure you have your snacks, okay? Like, you're gonna be here for a long time. So I thought I would do like top to bottom, but I'm gonna do my torso and back last because that's where the worst of the tattoos are, and I feel like we should save the worst till last. Oh, I also want to take note of the fact that in the clips that I have filmed, I have no fake tan on. I mean, there may be a little spot here and there where I've tried to scrub it off and it's not coming off, but I scrubbed off all of my fake tan for the video because I wanted a true representation of what my tattoos look like, because when I have fake tan over my tattoos, they end up looking a lot more dull. I am now wearing one layer of fake tan. I normally have like 2 or 3 on because I'm so pale, and one layer just doesn't cut it, but I feel like, you know, one layer makes me look just not so sickly and Victorian. To make this process a little bit quicker, I am going to list how old the tattoo is, who the artist is, and their Instagram page while I'm talking about the tattoo, because if I was to mention all of that throughout this video, it's going to take forever, so I'll just write it in this video. Some of the artists that I have been tattooed by do not tattoo anymore. That shows how long I've been, you know, getting tattooed. Or some of them I cannot find on Instagram or what have you. Okay, so starting off with my face, I have my eyebrows and some freckles tattooed. You don't ever get to see them because I always wear makeup in the majority of my videos. My eyebrows definitely do need a touch up. They have faded quite a bit, but they are microbladed. They were done with semi-permanent makeup tattoo ink, so of course they're going to fade over time. Yeah, I pretty much just use them as a guideline now when I do my makeup, and it's honestly super freaking helpful. But the artist that did them said it's best to match your natural hair color when doing the microblading situation. So my natural hair color is a dark blonde. I dye my hair black, obviously. I also have freckle tattoos hand poked onto my face. They have faded quite a bit also, and some of them have disappeared, but there are still some that are pretty noticeable. I love them so much. I love freckles, whether they are natural or hand poked or tattooed. I had them a lot as a kid, and because I just don't go outside that much, I am just like very wary of the sun. Being pale and tattooed, the sun is the devil for me, you know, so I don't ever get freckles on my face anymore. I sometimes get them on my arms and stuff if I stay outside for longer than 5 minutes, but I try to avoid the sun as much as possible. Okay, so now onto the tattoo side of things. I have this music note with a heart. This is a matching tattoo with my best friend Yasmin. She has the exact same tattoo. We got this tattoo because we have the same type of music taste when it comes to, we love like 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s dance and disco music. Okay, moving down onto my neck tattoo. This is one of my absolute favorite tattoos of all time. It's very hard for me to pick favorites when it comes to my tattoos because I do have a lot that I love so much, but my neck tattoo is honestly up there with one of my favorites, if not the favorite. I feel like it completes me, which sounds very strange, but I feel like I'm more me with this neck tattoo. It's a pretty gnarly tattoo. It's pretty big, but go big or go home, right? My neck tattoo is my second most painful tattoo. It was not pleasant. It's the only time a tattoo artist has had to use numbing cream on me because I was very close to tapping out. The area that was most painful was like the collarbone area. Where is it? It's over here. But this area here, no. I managed to get through it. I did all of the like flower area that's on this side in one session. I think it took like 7 hours, 7 or 8 hours. I was there for a long time, but the fact that I did it all in one day, I'm proud of myself for that. I then have a bee tattoo with some stars and sparkles. This was added on later to my neck tattoo. But one thing about me is the fact that I absolutely love bees. I think bees are adorable. We need them to survive. I am all for saving the bees. I have this beautiful lavender bush out the front of my house and there's always so many bees there. And I literally like sit outside my front house sometimes and watch the bees just do what they do, you know, being busy. They're being busy bees. So yeah, I got a bee because it kind of fits with everything that's going on my neck and my arm, you know, like a nature kind of vibe. This is my second bee tattoo because I have one on my ankle as well, but we'll get to that later on. And then we have my moth tattoo, which is just like here. This is, I think, my newest tattoo. I got this just before the new year. I have always wanted a death moth tattoo. I love death moths. They are a bit of me, you know, they're kind of creepy, kind of cute, everything I love in life, okay? I love the creepy and I love the cute. So I had the death moth added on to this whole situation. My neck, my blast over sleeve, my bee, and the moth is all done by the same artist. So it all flows very nicely together and it has the same kind of style and feel to it. Okay, let's follow on to my black work blast over sleeve. Like I said, the last time I did a tattoo tour, it was still in progress, but it's very much finished. It's been finished for a couple of years now. The whole thing took just over a year to do. I had sessions every, I'm not even sure, every sort of 3 months, I want to say, something like that. The reason why this is a blast over sleeve is because I had a sleeve underneath it and I didn't want to do a full-on cover up because I just knew that was not possible. I had a full sleeve underneath, which was a black and grey realism piece, and it was like a haunted horror situation. But I had a spooky house, I had a portrait, I had Samara from the film The Ring coming out of a well, I had a graveyard, I had trees. What else did I have? I had a whole lot of stuff going on there. There was like smokiness to it and all of that. And luckily, over the years that it had, you know, healed, it had faded quite a bit, but I still didn't think a cover up would be ideal. And I absolutely love negative space blast overs or negative space tattoo sleeves that are heavy on the black work. So I was like, you know what? That's perfect. That will cover it so dang well. And I love this blast over sleeve so much. I know it's not to everyone's taste, but hey, that's what makes tattoos freaking wonderful and why I love tattoos so much, because, you know, what's amazing for me isn't amazing for you, and what's amazing for you isn't amazing for me, but we all come together because we love tattoos, right? And that's why, like, I just love tattoos, okay? I'm sure we can I'm sure we've gathered that by now. I also recently, with this tattoo, had some white ink put over the top of it. They have healed pretty well. I can still see them. They are noticeable, but they're not like super bright and vibrant. I definitely think I would need to go over them. Well, not me personally, but the artist would need to go over them. But doing that, I don't know when. You know, it's not a high priority for me as of this moment. But yeah, doing the whole like black work blast over thing was probably one of the best things I ever done, because I honestly don't know if anyone would take me seriously still with the tattoo that I had beforehand, you know, it just wasn't. The thing is, I liked it because I liked that it was like a horror theme, and I love like horror films and Halloween and all of that. But it just wasn't dark enough, you know, because I ended up getting this rose tattoo, which isn't done by the artist that has done all of this. Even though the style looks similar, it's a different artist. And I got this done at the Manchester Tattoo Convention. I think it's called Tattoo Tea Party. And I had this like dark rose, and then the rest of my arm was like this grey, you know, sleeve. It just didn't look right, you know, so the blast over needed to be done. So yeah, we have my rose hand tattoo. I'm sure you may know, but if you don't know, I love rose tattoos so freaking much. It's not even funny, okay? Like, I don't know how many I have at this point. I know I have quite a lot, okay? Maybe more than I should. Would I get more? Yes. Yeah, it's a problem. I just don't know what it is about a rose tattoo. I don't care what style it's in. It could be in any style. I love a rose tattoo so much. So you're gonna notice a few roses throughout this video. So yeah, I have the rose on the back of my hand here. I then have a bow and a bone on my fingers. I've had these for many years. I then have the number 13 on the side of my hand. I got this number just because, you know, unlucky 13, it's a very prevalent number within the tattoo industry. It's used in a lot of like flash tattoos or Halloween flash days and stuff like that. It's just, yeah, it's an unlucky number, but I just really fancied a 13 and it fits in the little gap that I had perfectly. I then have my palm tattoo, which is the most painful tattoo I have ever had in my whole entire life. And that's all I can say about it. It was torture. It was so dang painful. But this is, I'm gonna say, my second favorite tattoo, okay? Like, again, picking favorites is incredibly hard when you have so many tattoos, but I think it's because it took so much out of me mentally to force myself to sit there and take it. I deserve a gold star for it. Anyone that has a palm tattoo deserves a gold star. Along with roses, skulls are some of my favourite imagery. They always have been, way before I even started getting tattooed. I've always been a skull and rose kind of gal. Then moving on to my L&R tattoo. So this is how I connect my right hand to my left hand. I have these because I struggle a lot with my left and right. I still, to this day, at my big age of 34, I don't know my left and right. It's really difficult for me. Multiple times, multiple different people have said go left, and then they're like, no, the other left, because I have turned right. So these have honestly helped me out so much. I look at them, you know, nearly every day. If you struggle with your left and right, there's no shame in that, honey. Just get an L&R tattooed on you somewhere, on your hands or your wrist or your thumbs. Thumbs have been incredibly helpful because they're just there, you know, like they're right in front of me all the time. Moving along now to my darling tattoo. I honestly want to say this is my third favourite tattoo. I love this tattoo so much. I love the placement. I love the font of it. It's a very meaningful word to me. Not only is it because I say hello, my darlings, at the beginning of all my videos now, but my mum used to call me it, and it's like a word that has been prevalent throughout my whole of my life. I just love the word darling so much. So the fact that it's there and it's, you know, a very noticeable tattoo, I don't know, I just hold it very close to my heart. The next one we have is a sword tattoo on my finger. There is absolutely no meaning behind this. I just thought it was cool. It's quite a popular design when it comes to finger tattoos. So I had an artist like draw me one up and I was like, yeah, perfect, slap it on. That's it, there's no other meaning. I just thought it looked cool. I then have my heart finger tattoo. This is my oldest finger tattoo. I've had this since 2012, so that's 12 years old. It's still there, it's still kicking. I've never had any touch-ups or anything like that on it. There's no meaning behind it other than the fact that I thought it looked cool. I also have some dots on my fingers and then lines on the other finger. I always forget that they're there. And then I have this eye tattoo. Again, there is absolutely no meaning behind it. I thought it looked cool. I then, of course, have another rose tattoo. Woo, are we shocked? Yeah, they match kind of sort of close enough. They're different styles, so they're not going to look exactly the same. I have a traditional red rose, and again, this is like one of my favorite tattoos. Like, it's a rose, it's red. Red is my favorite color. And it's traditional, which is my absolute favourite style. This tattoo definitely does need a touch up though. There are little sections here and there missing, but you know, it's a hand tattoo. What do you expect, right? So yeah, there's just a few patches here and there that need a little zhuzh, but I'm incredibly lazy when it comes to doing touch-ups. I'd much rather have a new tattoo than perfect anything else that I have, because I'm like, oh, it's already there, who cares, you know? Now we're moving on to my left arm. We're gonna go from bottom to top. So I have this Sacred Heart. This is definitely one of my least favorite tattoos. It's become a little bit of a style throughout my YouTube channel, honestly. I mean, if you've been watching me for a while, that is. So this hand tattoo here is actually a cover up. So I had this, oh, God knows what it was, to be honest with you. It's like a heart with some squiggly lines, and I had it covered up. That's why this leaf here is so black. The heart with the squiggly line years ago from my subscribers got deemed as like a turnip, and then it got covered up and everyone was like, oh no, the turnip, it's been covered up. So I get this Sacred Heart tattoo at the London Tattoo Convention. It was a spur of the moment tattoo. It was a walk up situation. It was one of those booths that just do a ton of tiny little flash tattoos over the day. You don't book or anything like that, right? I believe a lot of tattoo conventions have at least one booth like that, where there's a couple of artists that just churn out tons and tons and tons of tiny flash tattoos. So anyway, I see this Sacred Heart tattoo and I'm like, oh yeah, that's cute. I've always wanted a Sacred Heart tattoo because I love the imagery and all of that. Oh, did it bite me in the ass? Because like the design looked fine, but then the artist, bless them, decided that they wanted to make it look fancy, and they added all this dot work, and now it literally just looks like a turnip again. Okay, it looks like I've got another freaking turnip. Okay, I'm cursed with a turnip tattoo, and I honestly believe that if I was to cover this tattoo and I get another tattoo of anything that looks remotely like a turnip, okay, it will end up looking like a turnip. So a part of me doesn't want to cover this because I'm just like, right, that's it, you know, like let's just keep it as this one here. Some people say they don't mind it, but it's not my finest moment, you know. I should have known better. Because when did I get this? Was it 2018? 2019? I don't remember, but I should have known better. I should have known better at that age. The next one I have is a perfume bottle. If you don't know, I am obsessed with perfume and any kind of smells, to be honest with you. I collect perfumes, I collect candles, I love bath stuff. I just love sniffing things. So I have this traditional perfume bottle. It's got like the little squeezy pump thing, and I wanted to go for that kind of vintage feel. I don't know why, I just thought it looked cool. We then have an anchor with a S in the middle of it. This is for my sister Sophie. Many years ago, she said if she was to ever get a tattoo, she would get a tattoo of like a little peace sign, because there is a little peace sign within this tattoo. But that is now not a thing. But I still like this tattoo because obviously it's kind of meaningful because it is for my sister. But yeah, she has no tattoos at all. Me and my sister are so completely opposite. It's crazy. Like, we are literally chalk and cheese, or oil and water. You know, I'm very alternative. She is definitely not. Then we have my star situation. This was my first ever tattoo. Yes, this was the gateway. And after getting this tattoo, I said, never ever again. Never again. Woo, look how that turned out, eh? But yeah, this is the tattoo that started it all, and I went to my local tattoo studio, which was literally 2 minutes away from my house. Okay, it was a 2-minute walk. This is how some of my terrible tattoos have come to be, because, you know, it was very accessible. It was right down the road. No research really went into it or anything like that. Obviously, times have changed now. There was a lot of questionable tattoos born from that studio, let me tell you. We then have my WALL-E boot. This is from the Disney Pixar film WALL-E. It's my favorite Disney Pixar film. I can't even put into words just how much I love that film. It is adorable, it's cute, it's eye-opening, it's everything that I love within a film, you know, that is a cozy watch. And when I get film tattoos, I don't like them to be super noticeable. I like them to be quite a subtle film tattoo. In fact, I've only got one very obvious film tattoo, which is my Snow White tattoo, but we'll get onto that in a minute. But yeah, I wanted it to be subtle, so if you've seen the film, then you'll know what it is, but if you haven't seen the film, then you're kind of clueless, right? We then have my Twister tattoo. This is from the 1996 film Twister. I love Twister so much. I remember the first time I watched it, I was at my nan's house. I think it was the summer holidays, and she had Sky TV, all right, which is like cable TV for those that don't know. And I watched it on one of the Sky Movies channel. I don't know how old I was, because I don't think I watched it when it come out. That was 1996, so I was 6 years old. So I must have been around about 8 maybe, or something like that when I first watched it. And then anytime it was on TV since then, I still watch it. I don't know how many times I have seen the film Twister. It's a lot. I then have a lipstick tattoo, and I got this just because I love lipstick so much. It's a problem. I kind of somewhat, I don't collect them, that's a silly thing to say, but I can't help it. Like if a new one comes out that's like a formula that I'm very interested in, I have to buy at least one of them. So I have a lot of I just have a lot of lipstick. So I have to show my love by permanently tattooing a lipstick on me, you know. I then have a holiday tattoo. So me and my best friend Yasmin went on holiday to Dubai. Oh my god, when was it? Was it 2015? I think it was 2015. It was our first ever like girls holiday. It was our first like best friend trip away, and I had the most funnest time. You know, I have so many memories from that holiday. We've been twice since then as well. So I got it off my favourite area of Dubai, which is the Dubai Marina. And what is completely strange to me now is my tattoo looks absolutely nothing like it anymore. So like I got this tattoo, I don't remember what year I got the tattoo in. I want to say 2016 maybe. The last time I went to Dubai was 2022, and me and Yasmin stayed in the same hotel we stayed in the first time we went there, and the hotel has a view of the Dubai Marina. And when I went like 2 years ago, I was like, well, that don't look the same no more. Like there's so many more buildings, like the skyline just looks completely different to how it did when I went and what my tattoo looks like. So now it just looks like a skyline, to be honest with you. So I could say this is absolutely any city if I wanted to. But yeah, it's basically just a memory tattoo for me, and to represent the good times that me and Yasmin had when we went on that holiday. I then have a pumpkin tattoo that has a witch's hat on it, and it kind of doubles up as a cauldron. The reason why I got this is because I obviously love Halloween. Halloween is my absolute favourite holiday. It always has been since I was a kid. It just gives me such cozy vibe, especially with a lot of the Halloween films, you know, Hocus Pocus and all of that, like major cozy vibes. And like Gilmore Girls, oh my god, I really need a Gilmore Girls tattoo. That's one thing that I have to get because I just love cozy vibes, you know me. I mean, I have this pillow at the back there that says cozy. I see the comments from you filthy minded people that think that says something else. Okay, that says cozy, it doesn't say cock. I then have a Twister ice lolly, or a popsicle for those that live in America. A Twister ice lolly is like a British staple. I'm sure it's sold elsewhere, but like it's very famous in the UK. Like lots of people love it. I personally, this is gonna sound weird because I have one tattooed on me, I'm not that fussed by them. I think they're kind of made out of pineapple as well. I'm not entirely sure, and I hate pineapple. The reason why I have this tattoo is because they were always in my freezer. My mum and my sister loved them a lot, so I got this tattoo to represent the both of them. My mum sadly passed away 10 years ago now, so it's kind of like a little memorial tattoo, you know, a little ode to my childhood. I then have a vampire spider lady portrait spider web in my inner arm. This tattoo freaking sucked. It was so painful. The inner elbow is not fun at all. It's so spicy. It feels like a hot knife is being dragged through your inner elbow. Although I really do enjoy the design. I love this tattoo a lot. It was done by an artist that I had admired for quite a while. She does really cool traditional tattoos, and her color palette is freaking stunning. So it was kind of like an honor to have some of her artwork on me, if that makes sense. Yeah, I really love this tattoo. I don't even like spiders. That's the funny thing about this. I don't like spiders at all. It was a very nice gap filler because that gap was bothering me. Like this area was so blank for a very long time. I then have a tiger tattoo that is pretty old. It's very dark. Honestly, I think it needs some white highlights or something going on in there, and it just needs a pick me up. I mean, well, to be honest, the majority of my traditional tattoos they need some work doing to them. You know, there's bits missing here and there. The line work just needs a touch up, or the colors need some touch up. But again, the majority of the tattoos that I have on this arm are some of my older tattoos, so they definitely need some TLC here and there. But yeah, this tiger tattoo definitely needs some TLC right there. I then have a yellow skull tattoo, and again, this is one of my favorites. I don't know how this yellow skull is still so bright and vibrant. I think I got this tattoo in 2018, so it's like 6 years old now, so it's not like super old. But the fact that the yellow is still that bright for a 6-year-old tattoo, it's surprising. But there is absolutely no meaning to this. It was a flash tattoo by one of the artists that I love going to so much, and yeah, I just fancied it and I had a gap, so in it went. I then have a quote in my inner arm. This is one of my older tattoos. I got this tattoo in 2009, so this tattoo is 15 years old. This tattoo is 15 years old. And the fact that this script is still there and is still readable, considering the style of the script, I'm shocked. Like, I'm really shocked. This is a quote that I have resonated with for a very, very long time. You know, in order to be irreplaceable, one must always be different. And I stand by that so much. When I was in like high school and stuff, I was very much someone that tried to fit in as much as possible. I wanted to be like everybody else. It just doesn't do you well, you know? Like, you shouldn't dull yourself to fit in with everybody else. If you are a sparkly star, okay, you need to sparkle. Fuck everyone else. You do you, boo, and be who you know you want to be, and that way you become your own self and you become irreplaceable. That's enough deep finance bro chat from me for one day. I then have my pizza pinup tattoo, and this of course is one of my favorite tattoos of all time because I love pizza. Okay, I am a pizza fiend. I will eat pizza at least once a week. I wanted a very old school traditional pinup tattoo with a flare of me, which is the giant pizza slice. This unfortunately is one of my tattoos that have been copied so much. I've lost count how many times this has been copied now. Next to it, I have a cricket bat and a ball. I don't play cricket. I have no interest in cricket whatsoever. The reason why I got this is because when I was a child, my family in the summer used to play a game called Rounders. And if you don't know what Rounders is, I want to say it's kind of like baseball, but it's like an English version of baseball, I guess. Oh my god, my family playing Rounders in the summer was a highlight of my life, and we never had the correct equipment to play Rounders. We would always use a cricket bat and some random ass ball, and we would just go at it like that, you know. And it's some of my fondest memories, and I wanted to honor that with this tattoo. I then have my shoulder rose tattoo. I don't need to explain my love for roses, do I? I think we get the hint that I freaking love a rose tattoo. This is actually a rework, and it was my first ever rework. I had this, it was just like the rose head that was like no petals whatsoever. It was a really dodgy looking rose. And then I got one of my favorite traditional tattoo artists, Emma, to, you know, zhuzh it up, and she saved the day with it because it was terrible before and now it looks so much better. So if you have any tattoos that you like but you feel like need a little, you know, little sparkle, get a rework. You don't need to do a full-on cover up, okay? You can get it reworked and added onto and make it look 10 times better. Okay, we are now going to move on to my right leg. The first one I have is a Day of the Dead portrait. I got this tattoo back in 2012, I believe, so it's over 12 years old at this point. I am aware that nowadays it is quite a problematic tattoo. I want to say that I got this because I love the imagery of Day of the Dead. I know it's like a Mexican celebration of people that have passed on and all of that. I've obviously looked into the history. I did all of this when I got the tattoo because I obviously wanted to know the history of what I was getting, but this is way before I knew that cultural appropriation was a thing, sadly. You know, education when it comes to social issues was not really prevalent back then whatsoever. Like, this is when social media started to become a thing. Instagram was only just launched in 2012, I believe. And we had, you know, Facebook, but people advocating for social issues were just not a thing back then. So I was not educated, and I will always hold my hands up to that. But yeah, this is a tattoo that definitely needs some work to it. Maybe a full-on cover up, a blackout situation, laser. I'm still honestly not sure what to do with it. But because it's so high up on my body, it's kind of like out of sight, out of mind. It's never, ever, ever on show. I never wear shorts that short. Actually, the only time it's on show is if I'm wearing like a bikini or a swimsuit or something like that, which is hardly ever. So again, it's just not something that is prevalent to my mind. Like, if it was on my hand or something like that, then obviously I would have done something about it so much quicker, but it's, yeah, out of sight, out of mind. I then have a portrait of one of my favorite TV characters of all time, Patsy Stone. Okay, Patsy Stone. She is a character from a British TV show called Absolutely Fabulous. It was very popular in the 90s going into the early 2000s, and then there was a film that was released some point. Patsy Stone is an absolute freaking icon. Even though I honestly, I'm not a big drinker, I've never smoked a cigarette in my life, which is everything that she is. I relate to her a little bit, you know. She's very, like, I don't know, she's just sassy, and I grew up watching it, and I honestly feel like she shaped who I am today as a person. I then have this old hag, witchy, storybook kind of vibe portrait tattoo. And it was a flash tattoo from one of my favourite artists. And before anyone, okay, points it out, I'm aware, okay? The hand is not the right hand. I'm aware. I'm very much aware. But I didn't notice. I had the sketch of this tattoo because the artist put a flash up of it. And I screenshotted it, and it was on my phone for like 2 weeks, and I kept looking at it, and I was obsessed with it, and I was like, okay, yeah, I've got to have this. I love it. And I kept looking at it, got the tattoo. It took multiple people that watch my videos to tell me that the hand is wrong, okay? Like I said, I have Eleanor tattooed on my thumbs. I'm very unaware of hands and what hand is meant to be what. I personally don't care. I do not care. I'm not angry at the artist. I've been to the artist multiple times since this tattoo. It does not take away from the tattoo. Again, it's like an old hag. Her hands are backwards. That's all I'm going to say. Like, this is part of her character. But this is why I'll always tell you to check your stencils. But, I mean, if you are directionally challenged, I mean, there's no hope for you. There's no hope for me. There's no hope for you. I love the colour palette so much. I told the artist to just do whatever she wanted to do, and she gave it this autumnal vibe, which we all know how much I love autumn, okay? I then have my rose knee tattoo, and oh boy, was this a brutal tattoo. It was spicy, it was painful, and I'm so glad that I have both of my knees done now, because I never want to do that again. Never want to get my knees tattooed again. And my knees were something I put off for years and years and years and years and years, because I just knew it was gonna suck, and it did suck. It sucked a lot. But of course, as you can tell, it is a it's a rose tattoo, just like what I like, okay? I love a rose tattoo, and I love a rose knee tattoo. And I was gonna do another animal, because on my left knee I have a bat tattoo, and I wanted another animal to kind of match that, but I ended up with a very strange gap on my knee, and I thought, what's going to fit in there? Less than a rose, you know, like a rose was a perfect shape for that gap, and the artist added, you know, extra elements here and there to just really fill out the gap. On the same day that I got the rose knee tattoo, the artist filled in the little gap that was underneath that. It was just like a little like triangle gap, and she was like, is it alright if I just put like a little flower in there, because that gap is going to bother me? And I was like, oh, please, absolutely, while you're there, go for it. Add a little flower. So we have a little flower, no meaning. We then have my Quiet Place tattoo. Quiet Place 1 and Quiet Place 2 are two of my favourite films of all time. I don't know what it is about them. I love the sci-fi aspect, but it's still kind of horror, because one of my other favourite films is Cloverfield. I love like the whole monster invasion type of films. I don't really like Godzilla that much though, but like the horror side of like films like that, ooh, I love them so much. I could watch Quiet Place 1 and 2 over and over and over and over and over again. I haven't seen the third one yet, because that recently just come out, so I'm excited to see that one. Like I was saying earlier, I like my film tattoos to be pretty subtle. So if you've seen Quiet Place, this tattoo is actually more from Quiet Place 2, where they have the boombox thing, and then Emily Blunt's character says run in the film, so I got that like mashed up together. And to me, this is like a perfect ode to two of my favourite films, you know? I then have a little maple leaf. I got this on my recent trip to... Oh, no, wait. This is my newer tattoo. I thought my moth was my newer tattoo, but it's not. It's my leaf. I keep forgetting about this leaf because it's like a small little gap filler kind of thing. Anyway, I got this little maple leaf when I went to Canada recently. Oh, Canada. It was literally like the best trip I've ever been on, and I will go again and again and again and again. But we went to Alberta in Canada. We stayed in a little town called Canmore, which is near Banff. Banff has been a dream of mine for many, many years, and the fact that I got to go to Banff town and walk down that, you know, like the strip where there's loads of stores and there's like mountains everywhere, and I saw like waterfalls, and I did Johnson Canyon, and we went on Lake Louise, which was all frozen over, and now I'm seeing videos of it like unfrozen, and I'm like, I need to go back again when it's like September, October time. That would be a dream. We also went to Calgary and we saw some ice hockey. Like, it was literally like the best trip ever, and we ate so many Canadian snacks, and I love Canada. If you're from Canada, I love you, okay? But one of the days we went up to Edmonton, because Tom has a friend that now lives in Edmonton, so he's from the UK. They had the same kind of like circle of friends and what have you. I don't know the full story. So when we booked the trip, Tom was like, oh, I know a tattoo artist in Edmonton, and he was like, oh, we're kind of close to Edmonton where we're staying. I mean, it was like a 3-4 hour drive to get there and then come back. We did an 8-hour car trip in one day. For us Brits, that's a lot, okay? Like, we don't do that in the UK. But yeah, we went up to Edmonton and explored as much of Edmonton as we possibly could, and we got tattooed by Tom's friend, and I got a little maple leaf as a little memento to the trip, and it's just a cute little, you know, gap filler tattoo, and it shows my love for Canada. I then have a gravestone tattoo that says, "Rest in peace, my youth." I got this because, oh, I turned 30. I got it for my 30th birthday. I thought it was the best way of me celebrating turning 30, because to me, turning 30 seemed like such a serious age. Honestly, I feel no different now. Now that I'm 4 years into being 30, honestly, my 30s have been my best years yet. They always say, oh, your 20s are your best years. No. Like, if you are having a terrible 20s, wait till you're 30. Trust me, it gets better. It gets so much better, because you know who you fully are, you know what you deserve, and yeah, you just become so much more sure of yourself. All your fucks to give are just out the freaking window. Like, I didn't really have many fucks to give in my 20s anyway, but now I have zero, okay? Zero fucks to give. I then have a Snow White tattoo. So I mentioned this earlier, but this is obviously a Disney film tattoo, but I got it in honor of my nan. My nan loved Snow White so much. She had loads of the like dwarf like dolls, like plushies and stuff like that, and she watched it all the time. She was basically Snow White herself. You know, if she was to be any Disney character, she would have been Snow White, because she was that nan that would rescue birds that fall out of the freaking tree. She was always trying to look after birds, feed the birds, and like she was such a woman, you know. She was so kind and caring and not selfish in any way. She basically raised me. My mum obviously was a single parent, and you know, after school I would go to my nan's and she would look after us, so my mum could work a full-time job. I thought I would get a Snow White tattoo to honor her, so this is quite an obvious tattoo, but it's not like super obvious it's Snow White. Well, it kind of is and it kind of isn't, you know. I got it in a traditional style. I didn't want it to be like identical to Snow White, you know, like a cartoon character. I still wanted it to look like a traditional portrait, but it still has that Snow White vibe. I then have a little gap filler tattoo of a heart, and inside of that heart it says dogs, because I love dogs. There is no other way to say it other than the fact that I really love dogs. I love all dogs. I will hug every dog that I'm allowed to hug. I will pat every dog that I'm allowed to pat. Obviously, ask permission from the owners if you can touch a dog. Okay, be polite about your patting. Oh, I just want to love on every dog that I come across. Every time I see a dog on the street, I'm like, oh, dog. You know, I'm so annoying. You know how people are sometimes like, oh my god, cows, or oh my god, sheep. I mean, I say that also, but I also, with every dog I see on the street, I'm like, dog. The next one I have is a bleeding eye. I believe this was a flash piece from the artist that did it. I don't think I asked for this as a custom piece. No meaning behind it. It's just like a bleeding, crying eye. Kind of looks like a vampire's eye, kind of, because it's like red blood coming from the eye instead of like actual tears. I then have my second bumblebee tattoo on the bottom of my leg near my ankle. Again, I got this just because I freaking love bumblebees. I also love the fact that there is like a little flower within this tattoo as well. This was a flash piece. I got it at a tattoo convention. I think it was called the London Tattoo Collective convention. I don't think that's a thing anymore. I think there was only a few of them, but that was the first tattoo convention I ever went to, and I'm so glad that I got a tattoo when I was there. I then have a hand tattoo on my ankle. It's kind of like this demon hand that's doing like the rock sign kind of thing, and it's got like this spiky bracelet on it. Again, this was a flash piece. No meaning to it other than the fact that I really liked it, and I thought it would go perfectly in the gap that I had there. I then have some script that says yippee-ki-yay. This script has blown out so freaking much. It's not looking that great, and it's not even that old, to be honest with you. It's definitely blown out quite a bit. But the reason why I got yippee-ki-yay is the fact that I freaking love Die Hard. Okay, like Die Hard is one of my favourite films, and I've also just realised that this is quite an obvious film tattoo, so this isn't a subtle film tattoo. Well, I mean, if you've seen Die Hard, then you will know what yippee-ki-yay. Well, I think everyone knows what yippee-ki-yay is, right? Even if you haven't seen Die Hard. Anyway, I got it because I love Die Hard, and it's one of those films that, you know, when it's on TV, I will watch it. I watch it at least once a year around Christmas time, okay? Because Die Hard is a Christmas film. It is. We're not going to argue about it, because if you don't think it's a Christmas film, that means Home Alone isn't a Christmas film, because there's nothing to do with Christmas in Home Alone other than the fact that it's set around Christmas time, right? Same with Die Hard, thank you very much. I then have an alien tattoo, and oh my gosh, like this tattoo is still so freaking bright and saturated. And I got this in 2018, I think, or 2017. I don't particularly remember, but around about then, I got this tattoo because I believe in aliens. I'm not like a crazy conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but to think that there is nothing else out in the world, no, not the world, the universe, sorry. But to think that there is nothing else out in the universe, I'm sorry, like we are not the only ones, and whether they are bright green with big eyes or they look like us or they have extra limbs, I don't know, but I love space. I find it fascinating, but I get this thing, like if I think about space for too long, I get overwhelmed and I scare myself. Like the space is overwhelming to me because I'm like, oh my god, it's so big, oh my god, we are so insignificant, and then I just have like a crisis and I have to stop myself from thinking about space, but I do it like weekly. I then have a heart-shaped cat face on the back of my leg. This was a Flash tattoo. It was for a charity Flash event, if I remember rightly. But yeah, again, there's no meaning to this. I just really like the design. The next one I have is a popcorn bucket with a slushy drink kind of vibe. This was to represent my love for cinema and films. I actually haven't been to the cinema in a very, very long time, but I still obviously love films and all of that, so it's kind of just there to represent that, I guess. And I still love popcorn. Popcorn is like one of my favorite snacks, and I love a slushie as well, so I still very much love this tattoo, even though I don't go to the cinema that much anymore. Oh my god, my memory card is like saying it's gonna be full soon, so I am going to unload my memory card before we get on to my other leg, and then we're gonna do my torso and my back and all of that. Like, this video is humongous, I do apologize.
1 hour later.
Okay, I am back. I had to unload my SD card onto a hard drive, and then my tripod arm thing that's screwed onto my desk decided that it wanted to move about. We are now talking about the tattoos on my left leg. The first tattoo we're going to talk about is a vampire portrait tattoo. Again, this is one of my older tattoos. I got this in 2012 as well, I believe. This tattoo needs a lot of work done to it, but I don't want to do like a cover up. I definitely want a rework. I love this tattoo still, even though it needs some work. Like, the hands are, they're not good. They're pretty much faded away, and they need some definition. They definitely need a rework, but I feel like with a rework, this tattoo could look so much better. I got this vampire tattoo because I love vampires. I have loved vampires for a big portion of my life. There's probably absolutely nobody that has noticed, but this portrait tattoo is holding a necklace. This necklace is from the TV show True Blood, which is one of my favorite TV shows of all time. It's the Lilith necklace. The vampire itself isn't from True Blood, it's just a random ass portrait that the artist drew up for me, but the necklace is from True Blood, so it's like a little ode to my favorite, or one of my favorite TV shows. I then have an old style TV with Samara from the film The Ring in it. The Ring is, I'm gonna say, my favorite horror film. It's definitely my favorite horror film. I have quite a few horror films that I really, really love, but there's something about The Ring that I love so much. It reminds me of being younger and, you know, watching it with my friends and stuff like that. This is the second time I've had Samara tattooed on me. If you remember back to when I was talking about my old sleeve that I had on this arm that I had blasted over, I had Samara coming out of the well, and I really, really liked that tattoo, but I didn't want to get the exact same thing again, so I wanted something a little bit different, but it was still kind of the same. So I got Samara that has just come out of the well. She's walking away from the well, and then it's like the TV screen situation from the film as well. I then have a scorpion tattoo, and I don't remember if this was Flash or custom, but this was done by Sophie, who does my social media art. She is a tattoo artist as well as an artist as well, obviously. But yeah, I got 2 tattoos from her, but I love the whole scorpion design as well. I just love scorpion tattoos. I think they're freaking awesome. I think they are pretty cool creatures as well, but other than that, there is no meaning to it whatsoever. I then have the number 31. I have this number for two reasons. One, Halloween. Obviously, Halloween is on the 31st of October, and also it's my sister's birthday on the 31st of August. So two birds, one stone. I thought I would get the number 31. That's pretty much the only reason why I got that, and the font is kind of creepy and spooky. I then have my other knee tattoo, which is a bat tattoo. As you can probably tell, I love Halloween and horror stuff so much, and I love bats also. I think they are freaking adorable, and I thought a bat knee tattoo would fit my personality and aesthetic so well. So I got a bat on my knee, and this was not a fun process for me either. A knee tattoo, like I said earlier, they're not fun. I mean, I don't want to put anyone off that's wanting to get a knee tattoo, and obviously everyone's experience is different. What's painful for me might not be painful for you, and vice versa. But yeah, knee tattoos are pretty brutal, and I'm just glad I don't have to do that again. I then have another film tattoo. This is what I would call a subtle film tattoo in the type of film tattoos that I like to get. This tattoo is a combination of things from the film The Craft. It says, "We are the weirdos, mister," which is one of the most famous quotes from the film The Craft. The Craft is definitely one of the first sort of horror spooky films that I ever watched as a kid. I think the first ever one I watched actually is the Blair Witch Project, and I really do want to get a tattoo to commemorate my love for the Blair Witch Project as well. The Craft was, again, one of those films that I watched pretty early on in my life. Kind of creepy, kind of scary. It's not like terrifying or anything like that. It's really not that scary, but it's like a gothic Mean Girls. The next tattoo I have is this stabby looking knife with a skull on it. As you may know, I freaking love a skull, and I love anything kind of spooky or horror filmy, so the combination just works perfectly for me, and it fits the vibe of my leg as well. A lot of the tattoos on this leg are pretty like horror inspired in some way. There's a couple that isn't, but yeah, it fits the vibe. The next tattoo, which is actually the only tattoo, I'm thinking about it now, this is the only tattoo that doesn't fit the like horror Halloween vibes of this leg, but I still love it. It's basically a portrait of a girl holding a camera. I got this at a tattoo convention. I think it was in Brussels. I think it was the Brussels Tattoo Convention, and I saw it and I could not stop thinking about it, and I looked around the whole convention and I kept going back to this artist with this flash piece, and I was like, I have to get it, because I'd wanted a camera tattoo for the longest time, because I have always grown up loving cameras and owning cameras. I use a camera to do my job, and I have gone through many cameras because I like to upgrade. I've recently upgraded to the camera that I'm using now, but I'd wanted a camera tattoo for many years to represent my love for cameras and the love for my job and filming things. I'm always filming things and taking photos, and I'm that person that takes photos of freaking everything. My camera roll is a mess. The next tattoo is a saw tattoo. This is just a piece of flash from an artist that I really like. And I had a gap, and she had some space one day, I had some free time, and that's how this tattoo was born, to be honest with you. It's kind of cute because it's got like the hearts on it and stuff, so it's not like super scary and stabby, you know, like the knife or what have you. It's a little bit more, you know, not so scary. But yeah, I just got it because I liked it. That's pretty much the only reason as to why that's there. I then have a devil ghost, and I got this tattoo to represent my love for Halloween once more. It reminds me of, you know, the 90s costumes that you would get for Halloween. Kids would wear bed sheets and maybe put some devil horns on or something like that. But I just wanted a tattoo that had that kind of vibe to it, and the artist that I went to get this freaking rocks at tattoos like this. Like, she's so good at Halloween horror style tattoos in a black work, line work kind of style, and honestly this is like one of my favorite tattoos as well. It's just so cute, but it's so spooky at the same time, and I love it so much. The next one I have is a pumpkin beetle. I wanted a creature to match my bee tattoo, and it kind of shows both sides of my personalities, because the bee is like the cute side of me, like I love the cute little things in life, but like the pumpkin beetle shows my love for Halloween and spookiness and darkness, and they're a good representation of me. I then have a skull tattoo that has a heart barbed wire shape around it. There is no real meaning behind this other than the fact that I love skulls, and I thought the barbed wire would be a pretty cool touch to it as well. It kind of has that 90s feel to it. I freaking love barbed wire tattoos, I always have done. And yeah, it just fits my aesthetic. I then have a haunted house tattoo, and I got it because I wanted to replace the one that I had that was covered up on this arm here, because I had this big Halloween horror type house here. So I wanted to, you know, get it again kind of thing, but make it a little bit more Halloween-y, a little bit more spooky. And it's like my dream house. Like if I could live in that house, I very much would. You know that that house would be super cozy to live in. It would be wonderful around autumn, Christmas time. I also want to mention here, in case you haven't noticed, my right leg, I have to look at my thumbs then, my right leg is dedicated to colour tattoos, and then my left leg is dedicated to black work tattoos. The only tattoo that has a little bit of colour to it is the vampire tattoo. It just has a little bit of red to it. Other than that, everything else is black work or black and grey. I did that on purpose, and it's the exact same with my upper body as well. As you can see, I've got colour traditional on this arm, and then it's all black on this arm, and then they are the opposite of what my legs are. That was done on purpose. I did that because I couldn't make my mind up. I couldn't make my mind up on whether I wanted strictly black work or black and grey tattoos, or if I wanted strictly, you know, colour tattoos. So I thought I would just have the best of both worlds. There is absolutely no freaking rules when it comes to tattoos. If you want to do what I've done, absolutely go for it. If you want different color palettes on the same body part, you do it. It's your body, your choice. There are no rules. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't do something like that. You know, don't let anyone tell you, oh, you have to have just strictly black work, or you just have to have strictly color, or you have to just strictly have traditional all over, or you have to strictly just have realism, or whatever you fancy, okay? There are so many artists out there. If you just limit yourself to one style because you feel like you have to, you're holding yourself back so much. And of course, if you want to stick to just one style, one colour palette, that's completely fine also. At the end of the day, it's your body, your choice, you do what you want, but don't feel like you have to do a certain something because, I don't know, someone on TikTok told you that that's the way it's got to be, or an artist has told you, oh no, that will look silly if you mix styles or mix colour palettes or what. No, honey, no. You do what you want. What you choose is up to you at the end of the day, okay? And what I've done isn't to everybody's taste. Some people are probably like, oh no, I would never do that. I want to stick to one. It's a bit more organized, or it's a bit more cleaner or whatever, I don't know, but I like what I like. I can't stick to one. I'm greedy. I want every style and every colours. Okay, we're now on to the final stretch, and this is where the worst of the worst is, okay? Obviously, with the tattoos that I've mentioned over this video, some of them were questionable anyway, but this is where the real questionable ones are. This is where the terrible tattoos are. This is the ones that just okay, so the first one is a Hamza hand at the back of my neck / on my back. This is actually a cover-up tattoo. I had a heart with wings there. That was one of my first ever tattoos, and I was like, no, that's terrible. Some of the line work had come out. It was completely faded and awful, so I wanted something over the top. I don't even remember how old this tattoo is. I'm gonna have to look on Facebook because I'm sure I'll have a picture of when it was first done on Facebook. But obviously this has aged quite a lot. It's not the greatest. I then have this mandala peony portrait tattoo, and I don't mind this tattoo so much. It's okay. It definitely just needs a rework or something. Not even a rework. It needs a touch up. There is so many bits missing from it here and there, or the line work has faded here and there. This tattoo is, of course, on my back, and I didn't realize how bad it was. Well, not bad, but how much it needs some work to it until I filmed the clips. I was just like, oh, okay, I didn't realise it needed that much work done to it. I mean, it's not the worst, but there's just line work here and there that needs going over. And I also just want to, I really don't know what to do with my back. I think I'll talk about that in a moment. The tattoo underneath it. Honey, what do I do with this? So this is actually a cover-up as well. Okay, this is a cover-up of a tribal tattoo I got when I was younger. Again, one of my first ever tattoos. And I thought putting a big deer skull over the top and having it black where the nose is, and, you know, covering up all that tribal tattoo, and I thought realism, because I got this in a time of my life where I really liked realism. That's why I had the sleeve, that's why I got the portrait tattoos on my thighs. I was really in a realism moment. That's not very bold will hold of me, I know. But this deer skull rose tattoo is, it's not me anymore, you know. It's not, I mean, it's not terrible, but it's just like, it's not dark, it's not bold. The thing is, if it was still realism and a bit darker, I would probably like it a bit more. It's just very wishy-washy, and that's just not me. We then have a tattoo on my side that was also a cover-up. This was a cover-up of like some cherry skulls and some stars, and I thought, let's put a massive portrait / seaside coastline tattoo over the top of it. I don't even know why. I don't know why that was my idea. I can't explain it to you. I probably did have a reason, but I don't remember it now. I'm so grateful that I've done this video in some way, because when I got this tattoo, I had a red mark where the tattoo is, right? It was like this tiny little red mark, but it wasn't very noticeable. I'll flag up a picture. And now you can see I now have like this mole there. Sorry if this is graphic or whatever. I now have a mole there, and I knew it was there. So I knew this mole had grown pretty slowly over the past 12 years. So it's not like a rapid growth or anything like that. I looked at it when I was like looking at the clips when I filmed all of the close-ups of my tattoos. I was like, oh, that's something there. That's something. So I've actually booked a doctor's appointment because I want that checked out, because I don't know if I don't think it's anything sinister, because I was looking at, you know, moles that have turned sinister, like melanoma, and it doesn't look like melanoma as such, but I've booked a doctor's appointment and I'm getting it checked out just in case. And I also encourage all of you to check your skin just in case, especially as you're tattooed like me. You might not notice stuff like this, because I knew it was there, but I didn't realize it looked like that, because it's like behind me. I never see the back of me ever. Do you? I don't. Again, out of sight, out of mind. This is why the tattoos on my back are a bit of a mess and I haven't sorted them, because I don't see them. I don't care about them. What's behind me? Not a me problem. So I've got a doctor's appointment from when I'm filming this in over a week. I will keep you updated on what happens. If they say they want to cut it off, I'm so okay with that. It will ruin the tattoo, because, well, it'll ruin the portrait of the tattoo, but I don't care. My plans have been for a while now to black out most of my back, or the majority of my back, or all of my back, or have a massive blast over the bottom of my back to get rid of that deer skull, and have a zhuzh of the mandala portrait tattoo, and then black out the bottom half, and then have some things added so it goes onto my bum area. And then obviously within all of that, I would get the portrait coastline tattoo covered up as well, and then maybe go onto my stomach, because my stomach is pretty plain and I have some tattoos on my stomach as well that really need to go. So once I've had like the mole checked out and stuff like that, and whether it needs to be cut off or what have you, I'll go from there, because I really need to sort out my back. That will be a priority for me, honestly, as soon as I'm able to, because I'm obviously I've got like a chronic illness as well that's making my life miserable, and it's kind of hard for me to get tattooed at the moment. I'm also having blood pressure issues, which is another reason why I'm going to the doctor soon. And like most days I feel like I'm gonna pass out. I'm literally not having a very live, laugh, love time at the moment with my health. So tattoos have been on a back burner since my last one in February. So once my health is fine and I've had the mole checked out, my lower back at least will be my first priority to have it covered up. On the other side of my torso situation on my ribs, I have a script tattoo that says Carpe Diem. This is a very Tumblr-esque saying. I mean, obviously Carpe Diem is a Latin saying. Basically it means seize the day, which basically is a fancy way of saying you only live once. But I don't mind this tattoo. I really like the font of this tattoo, and I don't think, well, maybe I would end up having it covered up when I do the whole bottom back torso situation, but if I can somehow keep it, I will. And even though I'm very much a cozy homebody and I don't really like to seize the day anymore, the only thing I like to do is seize the snacks from my snack cupboard, yeah, I still kind of like it. So I think my camera for the whole of this section has been slowly moving this way, and it's because my freaking thing is doing it again. Okay, anyway, we're now going to move on to my stomach tattoos. I've had these tattoos for 16 years. They are some of my oldest tattoos, and they're the ones that haven't been covered up yet or lasered off. Again, it's out of sight, out of mind. I don't really pay much attention to my tattoos as it is. You know, when you've had them for so many years, they become a part of you. You don't even like notice them anymore. But I have this, what even is it? I don't know. It's like this tribal heart situation. It's like a squirrely heart thing. It's again been there for 16 years at least. I mean, it's not the worst, but it's not great either. And then on my lower stomach, I have these Mandarin symbols, and again, I barely ever see them. They're basically in the fold of where my stomach fat is. So like I don't really see them. So I don't really see them in the mirror because like my stomach fat kind of hides them a little bit because they're underneath like the stomach fat area. So I don't even see them. Like they are never seen. But yeah, I have Mandarin symbols that say love and hate, and I'm aware now as an adult with Mandarin. Obviously I don't speak Mandarin, but it's so weird because as a kid I was obsessed with Mandarin language. Like I had a lot of artwork that had Mandarin on it. So that's kind of why I got the Mandarin love and hate, and it kind of represented my feelings towards literally everything. One of my, I guess, toxic traits is the fact that it's very rare that I see a grey in the middle. I either see black or white. I never see grey. I either love something or I hate something. It's very rare that I see what's going on in the middle, you know. Sometimes I will, sometimes I'll take it into consideration, but most of the time I'm just like, nope, hate it, nope, love it. I think my camera's moved again, hasn't it? It's on the skew if once again. Anyway, that's pretty much all of my tattoos anyway, so we're at the end. You made it to the end, I made it to the end. And yeah, that is it for today's video. I just want to say thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me and looking at some of my cool tattoos and some of my very, very, very questionable tattoos. Again, my tattoo journey is a big one, and it has been a learning curve, and you can definitely see the difference between, you know, some of my tattoos where I wasn't that educated to the tattoos I got when, you know, I'd been making content for a while and found really good artists, or artists I deem as good. I never ever ever regret any of my tattoos, and yes, I have cover-ups, yes, I have blast overs, but to me regret is such a strong word. You know, to me regret is something that consumes you, and I've never had that feeling over a tattoo ever. You know, I've been like, I don't like them anymore, but I know that, you know, there's cover-ups, there's laser, it's not the end of the world. You know, it hasn't ruined my life in any way, shape or form. And yeah, I will keep you updated with my health journey and the mole situation I've got going on there, and whether it has to be cut off and ruin the tattoo. But again, I literally don't care. Like, that tattoo needs to be covered, so it's not an issue to me whatsoever. Thank you for being here, and until my next video, bye!